Traveling by train is arguably one of the most nostalgic ways to see Canada. And for a close-up view of Canada's wilderness, you gotta head to the Canadian Rockies. Vancouver-based Rocky Mountaineer made its first run in 1990 and has since grown into the world's largest privately owned luxury tourist train company. It currently runs 4 routes that carve paths along icy rivers and stone cliffs. Earlier, I asked its president, Steve Sammut, why old world trains still have a place in today's fast-paced world.
It's something that really harkens back to an older time. I mean, it's something that bound our country together in the first place, plays such a historical role in Canada coming together, joining east to west. And, there's something just magical about it. Everything slows down. It's the, taking your time, traveling in a slower manner and slower way, hearing the clickety-clack of the rails as you go by, and really, the scenery. I mean, just because you're on as a passenger and you're able to watch and experience everything that's going by, it's really a magical experience to see the scenery and the wildlife and everything else that's happening. So it's a nice way to travel.
Talk us through your routes. You have 4 routes, including one to the U.S.
First passage to the west. If you take that trip, there's these beautiful spiral tunnels that run through the Rocky Mountains. When you think about the time that they built those tracks, close to 150 years ago, it was really an engineering marvel. And the fact that they figured out how to get up this steep incline and run a train across there by using this tunnel system is quite something, and it's neat to experience it today. Rainforest to Gold Rush, there's this beautiful expanse between Whistler and Quesnel where it feels like the whole world opens up for you. And then the Journey Through the Clouds trip, which heads into Jasper, as you come into a certain spot and see Mount Robson in front of you, that's absolutely phenomenal. So every trip has got something I think is absolutely gorgeous.
Let's talk about Canada 150 and how that's driving tourism. What are you seeing from your view?
Well, from my view, it's something that's definitely pulling more attention towards Canada. When you mix that in with everything else that Canada has going for it right now, it's obviously something we're excited about. I mean, right now, Canada, for our neighbors to the south, the exchange rate provides a great value trip. So that's something that has been driving more tourism. The fact that we were featured in a couple of magazines, New York Times, and then also The Lonely Planet as one of the best places to visit in the world. That doesn't hurt us at all. Having a safe country, and a stable government, those are things that really play into our advantage. And finally, the airlines. We have so many more direct flights coming in thanks to our domestic carriers as well as international carriers who are now coming direct to Canada. So all those things, you combine that with the 150th, and there's a lot of excitement about Canada. What's happening down in the States, this whole protectionism and the fact that they're really trying to put a ring around themselves. Meantime, Canada is seen as being very welcoming and accepting and diverse. So it just adds to the allure of Canada. All around the world, you're seeing protectionism happening, people concerned about outsiders coming into their country, and that's not Canada. We are very accepting, and I think that really plays into our favor. Currency, of course, that helps, right? Again, we like to say we're not on sale, we're just great value. It really does help with places like the U.S. when they're deciding where they're going to go and they can come in and have a more affordable vacation. It really is great value for them. So there's a lot of great things happening that are laying down some nice tailwinds for Canadian tourism.
Talk to me about expansion plans. How important is the U.S. to those plans?
I would say it's very important. We've seen tremendous growth, and we've put a lot of focus into the U.S. Look, it provides about 80% of the visitation to Canada. So recognizing that and recognizing that there's I think this suppressed demand after a long period of economic malign down in the States, and combined with the fact that we're a great value right now for the U.S. consumers. And in addition to that, Canada being a really safe, secure, politically stable destination, that helps as well. So there's a huge appeal. You're seeing it in terms of visitation. Last year, U.S. visitation was up over 10%. And I think the demand is just going to continue to grow. So we focus on that in a big way, and we're having some great success.
And what about places like India and China? How do they figure into your plans?
I think you always have to be paying attention to those emerging markets. The number of travelers coming out of China and India at this point, it's astounding. The growth is just incremental year over year in a so large way. We are focusing on China. It does take considering your service and how do you evolve that service so it appeals to the consumers coming out of the area. Right now, we're at the front end of that, trying to understand that, but it's an area we've got an eye on it.
Do you have any plans to go public?
No, we do not have any plans to go public. We're a family-owned business. We're very proud of that, and you know, I think we're quite happy with growing at the rate we're growing. We're able to accomplish a lot of things, and we can move quite quickly and be nimble and take advantage of opportunities. So we do not have plans to go public.
Coming up, Gwyneth Paltrow calls it #heaven. Even Prime Minister Trudeau took his family there. This remote island off the coast of Newfoundland is no longer Canada's best kept secret. Our team brings you the report from Fogo Island next.